How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest. This originally came out in 1995, was directed by James D R Hickox, and stars Daniel Cerny, Ron Melendez, and Mari Morrow. And also, fun fact with this movie, keep an eye out for a before they were famous appearance of Charlize Theron as one of the Corn children. That's pretty interesting. And overall, this movie was pretty fun. I was a little bit worried when I reviewed Children of the Corn Part 2. Part 2 was just kind of meh with a few funny and over-the-top scenes. It was one that I definitely wish was better, and I was getting a little worried about covering all the rest of the films, especially because there's 9 more to get through. But this one was a huge relief. This was the first of the direct-to-video movies, and I think from here on out they would stay direct-to-video and then later direct-to-streaming. And usually when that happens you have to be a little bit worried, but this has a lot of direct-to-video cheesy goodness. There's a lot of super fun sequences in here, like the cigarette lighter sequence, and there's even some sequences that are kinda goofy but then turn out to be in some way actually really scary. Like there's a super cool Uncanny Valley sequence with a statue of the Virgin Mary, and there's also a really fun scarecrow sequence towards the end that ends in a spectacular over-the-top gory sequence. There's more gore, there's more special effects, they really boost up the magic in this franchise, and in turn, the thing has a good bit of energy. There's also a really good story revolving around these two brothers, and as the title suggests, they go into the city where they're not really familiar with them, and we have this whole, like, sibling rivalry, and we have the one kid, like, rebuilding the cult in the city. It's a lot to really shake things up, so yeah, a lot more energy, a lot better characters, and overall this is one that I had a ton of fun with, and I am so glad that the quality stepped back up. Yeah, at times a little bit of a goofy movie, but still a really, really fun one. But that being said, let's take a minute and talk about the movie in a bit more specifics. From here on out, I will be talking about the plot, but I'll be avoiding the end bits, so no major spoilers. I'll focus primarily on setup, and I'll talk about some of the fun moments in this film. So from here on out, a deeper dive. We open up back in the town of Gatlin in a small trailer on the outskirts of town, and we get to see a drunk and abusive father go chasing after his two kids. The younger says, "Stay here," and then uses his Children of the Corn magic to sort of summon the corn stalks like he was poison ivy or something, and string this guy up as a scarecrow. And then he takes out a magical secret Children of the Corn Bible and hides it underneath the scarecrow post as a MacGuffin for later. And I will say, it took me a minute to figure out what exactly we were doing here. I thought maybe this was a prequel since there was an adult and we're back in Gatlin, but apparently this guy came to Gatlin later and just happened to adopt a corn child. Okay, sure, you think if there was a grisly murder and a bunch of the kids, like, killed all their parents not terribly long ago, you wouldn't do this, but apparently he needed the space so he could grow his own corn. The two kids go into the foster system and are adopted by a family in, I think it's Chicago. And it just so happens to turn out that the dad also manages a company that deals in corn as well. And yeah, this will lead to a sort of subplot with him discovering the kid has like super special corn that does kind of take away from things and gets a little bit goofy, but whatever, they're in the city now. They go into school and the kids are separated because one's significantly older than the other, and the younger kid said, "Oh, you said you would never leave me." And this is where we get sort of the divide between the brothers. The older kid starts making friends, playing basketball in a classic 90s montage, and even stops dressing in the old ways and adopts modern clothing. And I like how we can see the rifts slowly start to grow. They're inseparable at first, and then one starts living his own life, and as the movie goes on, they're going to get at each other's throats a little bit, and it really is a cool and interesting relationship. Much better than the father and son who just hated each other in Children of the Corn 2, and I found it was really interesting. Also, the main kid in this one, Eli, is a really cool cult leader character. I love seeing him start out from nothing. He's in a new place, and then their house happens to back up into this abandoned warehouse, and then we get this really cool sequence where he goes through the fence boards and sneaks into the warehouse, and he sets up his own cornfield in the courtyard there, which is super fun. He has a suitcase of corn from home. He can throw the corn on the ground and lines will appear in the dirt as it self digs its own trench. And then having this whole abandoned warehouse as like a secret base camp, that's really cool. And the way that he's not afraid to get into adults' faces and intimidate them. He has this really cool like rivalry with the pastor of the Catholic school they're in, and he'll begin to suspect something's up with him, and more kids under his school will start to kind of be influenced by Eli. He's reforming his cult, and when he brings up like, hey, there's something weird with this kid, the other people will be like, so what? They're acting better. That's a good thing, right? So you have him there kind of trying to solve the mystery, and I also do like by having the priest as one of your key protagonists, it further illustrates the differences between the regular church and the Children of the Corn cult. But of course, as the movie goes on, more and more people will start to figure some things out, and it's up to his brother to go and kind of solve the mystery. And the thing really does heat up, like once the brother and his new friend start to go on the case, we get some pretty fun moments. Again, we will get that scarecrow sequence later on, and I really don't want to spoil it, but the end of this movie hits so hard. There is a bunch of cool, over-the-top special effects, and yeah, it's kind of goofy, but the end sequence of this movie is so much fun. It really does swing for the fences. Again, kind of goofy, sure, but I really do love it. So overall, this one was so much better than Children of the Corn 2. Really good characters, the brother rivalry, going to the city, and then just doing more with the magic and the gore and the special effects. This one has so much energy and life behind it. Honestly, this is the one that should have gone to the theaters. It's so much better. Overall, it is a little on the campy, cheesy side. Don't expect the scariest movie in the world. But if you like fun, cheesy horror movies, I mean, this was 95, but it really does feel like an 80s movie. For real, you may want to check this one out. It's pretty underrated, and I'm surprised not more people have talked about it. This was a really good, pleasant surprise, and I can definitely recommend it. Anyway, all that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see me talk about more things kind of like this, feel free to click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.